Make sure them levels is good. All right. What's good, y'all? Sean P, the Blunt guy. Hey! And we back. I'm back. I am back this week. Just got back yesterday. Last night, matter of fact. Oh boy, I was tired, man. I was tired. Slept good. Slept good. Been driving all day yesterday and the night before. But that's not why we here though. We here to talk about One Piece. We here to talk about One Piece. But yeah, before I get into that, before we go any further, I gotta do, some things before. Make sure you show some love, man. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. And if you aren't, subscribe. I'm doing a giveaway. At 50 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. I will be giving away the Straw Hat flag. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. And again, show some love. But yeah. Anyway, let's get into this. One Piece, chapter 1031, Warrior of Science. If there's if there's anything wrong with my the audio, which I think the audio is good, let me check it on my end. Yeah. If there's anything with the audio, make sure you let me know in the chat. But we're gonna get into this chapter. Alright. So looking at the cover spread, let's start off with the cover spread because I kind of find it an interesting cover spread. And we see all the, I would say, all the second, the right hand men to the captains. I guess you would say the lieutenants or whatever. But you would see all their first commanders. We get Rayleigh, who was Goldie Rogers, basically second in command. Then we get Ben Backman, who's Shanks, King, who is Kaido's. We get my dog Katakuri, who is Big Mom's, Killer, who's Kids. Then we get Marco, who's Blackbeard's first commander. Then we get Sabo, who's basically the right hand man to Dragon. And then here we get Zoro in the middle, of course, who's Luffy's. Which a lot of people. I'm gonna kind of speak on the after. We get Beppo, who's Law's right hand, and then we get Shiru, who is Blackbeard's second in command, or right hand man, I should say. And the two, I guess I would say the two controversial people on here that I've seen a few debates. Is Zoro and Shiru, because a lot of people, like I was talking to somebody and they was talking about how I guess they, a lot of people was saying there wasn't no right hand man on on the Straw Hats. A lot of people just kind of say it's implied that Zoro is. Some people say, there is none. But I would say most people implied that Zoro is, most definitely. I always looked at him as the right hand man because, we've seen a few times where Zoro had to step up and be like, look, he had to put his foot down. And when he put his foot down, we see how the crew listened. Example being when Usopp left the crew. And we see Zoro basically say, like, hey, we not just taking Usopp back just because he said, hey, I'm coming back. He was like, look, Usopp's going to have to apologize, if he wants to come back and ask to come back. And everybody was like, yeah, he got a point. Even Luffy was willing to accept Usopp at that point. But Zoro was like, nah, it's not going to happen that way. And so Zoro has shown that he is the right-hand man before. So I'm not going to speak too much on that, even though I already just did. But Shiru is the other character who was kind of a surprise to some people. that I had some conversations with, and because a lot of people, I guess, assume that Jesus Burgess was the right hand man to Blackbeard because he was. Because way before they went to Impel Down and release all the strong prisoners that are currently on the Blackbeard pirates, including Shiru, who was he was a prisoner and he used to be one of the correctional officers of Impel Down before he became a prisoner. So people was like, "Hey, Jesus Burgess was the right hand," and it was never really confirmed who was the right hand man to Blackbeard's crew. And I always kind of looked at Shiro because when we first were introduced to Shiro, he was hyped up to be on the level of Magellan, the warden of Impel Down. And I'm like, then he goes join Blackbeard pirates. And I'm like, bro, like Magellan almost killed the whole crew, the whole Blackbeard crew by himself, Magellan. So if Shiro is Magellan's level, I'm not saying he's going to solo Blackbeard's crew like Magellan did, but I would assume that, he'd probably be he'd be strong enough to compete even against Blackbeard possibly, so he'd probably be the best choice. If Blackbeard's crew works by strength, I would think that he would be the best choice to be the right hand man to Blackbeard, which kind of leads me to my thing, to my point. I think it would be pretty dope if Blackbeard's crew runs like Kaido's crew, like what's called meritocracy, where it's like the strongest usually is the highest position. And let's say Shiro came along and he was like, he was the strongest beside Blackbeard. And so Blackbeard was like, hey, you gonna be my right hand. And he kind of kicked Burgess off to the side. Was like, okay, you used to be, but he's stronger. So now Burgess is like on a mission to reclaim his spot. And that's why he got like that's why he was trying to get the flame fruit in Dressrosa, because he was trying to get his position back. Like I kind of like that idea. Like I was kind of talking to somebody about that before, and I came up like we was talking about that idea. I got Elids in the building. He said Jesus could still be his right hand man. It could just be that Shiro is the second strongest. Yeah, I mean it could be. I'm just kind of going off with the cover story implies, because it looked like you see all the right hand men, and when we get to Blackbeards, we get Shiro and we don't get Jesus. So but yeah, that's pretty much all I got for the cover story. I found it to be an interesting and a pretty dope cover art or cover page. But anyway, let's get to the actual chapter. Okay, so let me get a little water. So we start off with where we left off, where we got Big Mom in this big old pile of beams that Kid basically I guess when Kid magnetized Big Mom's head and all those beams came crushing Big Mom. So we see the aftermath, and Law and Kid are both like wheezing. And I'm sorry, y'all. I think I'm getting a cold, honestly, because I got like a little scratchy throat. So Law basically asked Kid, like, hey, so awakening the magnet fruit, he said, yeah, it's like, how long does the power hold? He said it allows you to assign magnetic qualities to something. How long does the power hold? And Kid's basically like, bro, why would I tell you all my secrets? Like, nah, you already seen my awakening. I'm not giving you all my secrets, bro. And so you know, a little bit later, we see Big Mom basically flying out of that pile of metal beams. Still all right. You know, she a little battered. You know, that got her. That got her a little bit. You know, but everybody's pretty shocked that she's getting up. And she, you know, she does her life or Oshiruku. I don't even know if she really wanted Oshiruku. Because it looked like she already had it in her mind that she was just going to take these fodder guys' lives anyway. So that's pretty much what she do. You know, first they tell her like, hey man, we dumped all the Oshiruku on the floor and stuff when we was partying, which was stupid. Like, why would you throw away the Oshiruku knowing that Queen and Big Mom like that? And you're just playing it around, throwing it around, and it was just silly. It was just silly. It was just silly to me. But you know, they say they ain't had no more Oshiruku, so they just snatch. Big Mom just snatches their souls, and she start basically putting their souls into like the metal beams, and we see her basically holding. At first I thought it was like one of the souls she took, but I think it's like her own soul, because she says, I'll use an entire year of my lifespan. Anything less won't serve to strengthen me. And she basically consumes it, right? And just grows in size. So I guess it's like, you know, her backup, one of her aces in the hole that she's using to restore a little health, restore a little strength. You know, she got bigger, and she says, I haven't felt this much pain in decades, I think. That's very impressive, you two. Trafalgar Law, Captain Kidd. I wonder why she ain't say Captain Law, Captain Kidd, or Trafalgar Law, or Ann Eustace Kidd. You know, like she calls Law by his whole name, and then she calls Kidd Captain Kidd. And at least in the you know, the official translation, I don't know how it is in the scans or anything. So, you know, maybe it's different. You know, that's kind of a minor thing, but you know, it's just interesting. She says, I'm sure you've come for my throne, just like Straw Hat Luffy. So take it if you can. Prove you're worthy of being an emperor of the sea. And you know, basically Law and Kid, you know, they're just preparing to have to take her on. You know, they thought they had her down, at least for a little bit. But that's not the case. Like, I honestly kind of thought she'd probably be out a little bit longer. And I also theorized that she'd come back up with like amnesia. But I guess I was wrong about that. I guess it's kind of a good thing to be wrong about, but you know, it kind of served her having amnesia would have served a greater purpose. Even though it might have been an easy cop out. So maybe it's better she didn't have the amnesia. And so, you know, we see like some guys, you know, the soldiers fighting, talking about like the floor being on fire, and then we also get a glimpse of Yamato, who's pretty much running towards the chamber with the fire, the explosives. And then we go back to what I think is the chamber that Yamato is going to, because it says the cave chamber, and we see Apu and Drake fighting. You know, so Apu's little offer to Drake to join his side, it didn't work, obviously. I don't think nobody thought Drake was going to join alliance with Apu. So, you know, I think that was pretty much easily predictable. And he points out, one thing Drake does, he points out Apu's ability and how it works. He says, at first glance, your technique seems to have no attack vector at all, but you activate them through hearing and aim with sight. So we get a little more explanation about how Apu's ability works. And which I'm gonna talk a little bit about later. And Apu says, quit spilling my secrets, man. I thought that part was pretty funny. But and we see Yamato basically burst through the, I don't know if that's the door or the wall. I think it's the door. And she's pretty much running, and she notices him, say, "Hey, Drake and Apu, what are a Toby Ropo and an info dealer doing in here?" Was that confirmed that Apu was an info dealer? Like, did they say that, talk about that last chapter? Because it's been kind of a while since, like, I don't really remember. But that's an interesting observation to reveal that Apu was an info dealer. I don't think, because I did read this last week, so I kind of remember, seeing it. So, looking at it today, it kind of like, oh yeah, Apu's an info dealer. Where did I hear that from? So I think it was revealed this chapter that he's an info dealer, which is interesting. We get more of Apu's value, being an info dealer, because kind of remind me of Doflamingo, like he seems pretty valued to Kaido. That's probably why Kaido keeps him around, for his ability to gather intel. And then so we get Apu basically thinking in his head like Yamato is Kaido's enemy. This idiot Drake is useless to me. Guess I'll switch horses. And he's trying to basically win Yamato over. He says, "Hey, I'm not with Kaido no more. I won't be on your side. Go attack Drake." And Yamato basically tries to attack Drake, but Drake says, "Hey, I'm not with Kaido anymore either. I'm done too." And so Yamato apologizes, but still knocks Drake down as she like rushes out the room, and she apologizes to Drake. And then we see Fuga, the number, like one of the numbers, Fuga, basically look to be crashing through the wall to chase Yamato. And was Fuga the one number that Yamato hit? Is he like trying to get revenge? I'm not too sure. I remember Yamato hit one of the numbers when Sasuke was there, and then who was it? Not I'm trying to remember that time. I think it was Frankie and Sasuke, and then Yamato. One of the numbers came and Yamato hit that number. I'm thinking that number is like Fuga is that number. Remind me in the chat if y'all remember. But it seems Fuga kind of takes off after Yamato, and Apu is pretty much like, hey, where you going? And then I guess he decides to run after Yamato because he's trying to get away from Drake. And he tells the other numbers like, "Hey man, let's go run after Fuga or whatever." And Drake says, "You're not getting away." And so we get a glimpse. We cut to where Drake, or not. We cut to Robin and Brooke, and we see CP0 members basically. What it looks to be that they're in action now. They're coming after Robin. They're finally making their move, and they're coming after Robin. And Brooks pretty much takes Robin and jumps down the little balcony to get away from them. And Robin points out that CP0 is the highest level of Cypher Pool. And where am I? And he basically said she basically points out how they're the most elite out of the Cypher Pool. And then we cut to Sanji, who's in the little, what is it called? The brothel. I forget what it's called, the Love District or the pleasure hall. The pleasure hall. Sanji's in the pleasure hall, and it looks like Sanji must have hit some girl. because she's on the floor hurt, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And they're throwing stuff at Sanji, and even Sanji recalls, like he said, "I ran into the girl." He says, "I remember running. I remember that I was running along in deep thought, and he runs into this girl, and then she said, "Oh, I'm just a geisha who was brought from the flower capital to entertain." And then next minute she's on the floor. So he's kind of just recalling the events of what happened when he ran into that girl. And he says, I'm gonna read what he says. And he says, "I remember that I was running along deep in thought. And the next moment she'd been knocked through the air and was bleeding badly. She was looking at me with fear in her eyes. Tell me, Luffy, which would you prefer? The regular flesh and blood me, who turns into a helpless wreck whenever face an opponent who's a woman, or a cruel, cold, emotionless warrior of science who can crush even monsters like him as long as you give me the order? Which one's going to be me, or be more useful to the king of the pirates? I don't know what have happened yet, but here goes." And then we see Sanji basically, he says, I have to assume that the thing caused the science that was already in my body to awaken and activate somehow. Well, I can't do anything about it. So we see Sanji pretty much step on the can. And this was after he ran into Queen in the hallway after hitting the girl, or quote unquote supposedly hitting the girl. He runs into Queen in the hallway who sees him pull the can out, and Queen's excited. He's like, "Hey, you're about to put the suit on for me." And then Sanji destroys it, and it's just like, come on, man. Why would you waste that good science like that? and he says, "Farewell, Germa. Farewell, women's baths. This is one fight I've got to end myself." And then we see Sanji pulls out a Den Den Bushi, and he calls Zoro, who's in the middle of his fight with King. And he says, the phone rings, and he says, Zoro says, since when did I have a transponder still? And Sanji tells him, like, "Hey, I stuck it in your band just in case you are dying in the ditch somewhere." Zoro says, "Moron Cook, I didn't ask for your help." And Sanji said, "Look, just listen. I'll be quick. We're going to beat the Animal Kingdom pirates real soon. You think?" And then Zoro says, you think I don't know that, Sanji, but after the finish, if I'm not right in my mind, I want you to kill me." And, Zoro's kind of like surprising. Like, I don't know what you're asking, but, whatever. Just don't die before then. And we see Sanji disappear. Queen's like, what is this? Some more of that German science. And, Sanji's almost like Super Saiyan. Sanji's almost like, we see all these flames on Sanji's body. You can barely actually see Sanji. It's like a silhouette of Sanji surrounded by flames. And he hits Queen with the Hell Memories, supposedly sending them. I don't think that's going to be the end of Queen, but that is definitely the end of this chapter. But yeah, so let's get into some things that stuck out to me in this chapter. Oh my goodness. Yeah, man, I'm definitely think I'm coming down with something, y'all. Let me get some water. Sorry, it's been a little hard for me to talk. I'm a little off today, so it's been a little hard for me to talk, but I'm trying to get through this. So this might be this is going to be a shorter discussion. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the awakening, from kind of what we got from last chapter. They talked about, their, like law ass kid about his awakening, how it assigns magnetic qualities, and we also seen Law's awakening last chapter. And you know, now that we're seeing Law and Kids Awakening, right? I'm thinking of, will we see Luffy awaken his ability? You know, because we see Law and Kid having to awaken their devil fruits in order to take on Big Mom together. And we see Luffy. Now we already knew Luffy had to awaken his haki. He awakened his observation haki. He awakened his armament haki. But I don't think just awakening those two will be enough to, if especially if he's going to defeat Kaido 1-on-1, right? I think he is going to need to awaken his devil fruit. And this is something I thought, I thought, back in like, not that I thought, I've seen, people, there's been a lot of discussions and theories about devil fruit awakening. And I was kind of always of the belief that I feel as though Luffy, I don't know if he's going to get a new gear this arc, but I do think he is going to awaken his devil fruit. I think that's going to be necessary. I think gear 5, if we get a gear 5, that might happen. That might happen later. That could happen when he fights Blackbeard. You know what I'm saying? Like, because gear 5 seemed like if we get a new gear, that would be his ultimate. That would be his last and final gear. So I think that could potentially be in the final fight. Whether it's against Blackbeard or Eam. Or it could be like he gets gear 5 against Blackbeard, and he introduces it against Blackbeard, and then later he perfects it, and because every time he gets new gear, he never has it fully perfected, right? He never has it fully perfected. It takes him a little bit. So if he introduces it during Blackbeard, and then later, like the next arc he fights is, the next arc is when he goes against the world government and he fights Eam. If that happens, he might have a better control of it fighting Eam. If Eam is indeed the final fight, because some people think Blackbeard is, some people think Eam is. I don't know. I think he might fight Blackbeard in order to get the One Piece. Like he might fight Blackbeard for the One Piece, but I think, he might, after getting the One Piece, I don't think it's going to be completely over. I think, he might learn, like the One Piece might have like the secrets of the world or something. The secrets, how to defeat the world government. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It depends on what the One Piece is as well. But I think after he gets the One Piece, he may have to destroy the world government and, or go to war with the world government. And, maybe he'll win and then there'll be a new world government. Like new Marines where like we'll have like Smoker who's like the head of it. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out of there. But yeah, as far as Luffy, I think he may awaken his devil fruit. He may have to. That might be what he needs to do in order to defeat Kaido. We know he has haki, like he has advanced armament haki. He has advanced observation, but I think he's going to need more to put down Kaido if he indeed does put down Kaido, because we're seeing how Law and Kid have to use their awakening just to get that much damage to Big Mom, So, yeah. And then I want to talk about Big Mom's defeat. Could she get defeated? Because now we're seeing Big Mom have to put out some Big Mom's having to sacrifice a year of her life just to gather the strength. Like, what'd she say? Let me go back to what she says, because this is what got me thinking that Big Mom could potentially get defeated this arc. Big Mom says, she said, "I'll use an entire year of my lifespan Anything less won't serve to strengthen me. So it seems like she's really having to push herself at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, and and then she says, I haven't felt this much pain in decades, I think. That's very impressive, you two. So, I mean, Big Mom is clearly, suffering a little damage. She even says herself, like, I haven't felt this much pain even after fighting Kaido. Even though Big Mom has been fighting a lot since this arc started. So, but it's looking like she could go down if if this fight keeps going on, and there is a definite uh if there's a decisiveness in this battle with Big Mom against Kid in Law, then I think she might go down. I think she could go down. But I don't know. I think there could be an interruption, like a fight interruption. Like maybe when maybe Onigashima might crumble, and because we see how Onigashima is on fire. The explosives is near the fire capital, so it might be something like Onigashima starts falling apart and their battle gets interrupted. I don't know, but I was kind of thinking if let's say if those beams like buried her and she was out for a while, maybe that'd be like an opportunity to get to end the fight without it having a clear, decisive winner or loser. Or if they gave her amnesia, because then it's like you bring the amnesia thing, which was already established, and it would end that fight, so they have no reason to fight her anymore, and it could also lead to a betrayal of Kaido. That was kind of one thing I was thinking. And another thing I was thinking of, like when she uses a year of her lifespan, could she like I guess replace that year with like other people's souls? Like could she use other people's souls to increase her lifespan? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like could she like consume someone's soul? Like what is the extent of her ability? Like we see she has to use a year of her own lifespan in order to I guess recover to a degree and get the strength that she needs in order to keep fighting Law and Kid. So, I hope we get a explanation on that. But yeah, I feel as though Oda is really like giving a lot of Big Mom, and I know a lot of people were talking about like, hey, Big Mom probably go down to Elbaf, but I feel as though he's like really making her show a lot. Like she's going hard right now. Like she's having to cut her lifespan in order to fight Kid in Law. Like she's going all out. If she does make it to Elbaf, I don't think she's going to be an enemy. Because I don't see why Oda would go all out with Big Mom in Wino if she's going to be defeated in Elbaf. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just think Oda, if she's going to be defeated in Elbaf, Oda is definitely making Big Mom go all out and giving us a lot of Big Mom. Which is something, like I don't know. Elid says Big Mom could Onigashima from burning down by turning the fire into a home. Yeah, she could do that. Now that you say that, maybe Prometheus could possibly like suck up that fire and use it as like a upgrade. Yeah, but yeah, you said stop. But yeah, maybe Prometheus could absorb that fire and reinforce himself. Since he's already a ball of fire. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no reason in her creating another fire homie. When she already got a fire homie. I mean, she could have two fire homies. So, and But yeah, yeah, I feel as though Big Mom Oda is really going deep in the Big Mom's like arsenal and fight, because I know Oda likes to save things, like usually he doesn't showcase a character's full ability if he's going to save them for later. You know what I'm saying? But I could be wrong about that. You said Big Mom might make Nightmare Luffy 2.0, put soul put soul power into him, maybe even fire, making him resemble. Bro, I like that. I like that. And I've always said, man, that's why I want Moria to come back into the series, because I would like to see a Gear 4 Nightmare Luffy. But Big Mom also got like a similar Devil Fruit ability. Like her ability works similar to Moria. You know how she gives things lives and stuff with other people's souls. So, you know, I could see she like maybe she could do something like that. But the only question I got for that is, why would she do that when she wants to kill Luffy? Why would she do that? That would be very interesting, and I would love to see that. But why would Big Mom work with Luffy? You know, I'm actually in support of that, because I think that Big Mom, like I've been saying for the longest, that Big Mom could potentially betray Kaido. You know, the deeper we get into the arc, though, it's looking a little less likely. But cross my fingers for that. I'm kind of crossing my fingers. I think it's a sensible way to bring down Kaido. You know, like it's a realistic way. But I don't know. Because if because Kaido and Big Mom could go down this arc. Because they, like, again, Kaido's going deep into his arsenal, just as like Kaido's kind of going all out. Big Mom's starting to go all out. Or Kaido will be going all out. I think Kaido still got a lot of fuel in his tank though. But I think we soon will get like Kaido really, really, like we may get Kaido really, really go all out. Especially now that we seeing Big Mom really, really go all out. But like we might see Kaido go deep into his repertoire, just like we seeing Big Mom. All right, but yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is Apu's weakness. We kind of got a little more information about how Apu's ability works. It's like he act. Like Drake explains it that Apu activates his ability through hearing, but he aims with sight. So, it's not just random. Like he can't hurt you if he can't see you. So not only do you have to be able to hear his attack, he also has to see you in order for him to be able to hit you with it. So yeah. So we get more in depth with Apu's. I still don't think that really like diminishes Apu though. It don't diminish him as a fighter. He still has a very tough ability to have to encounter. Because long as he could see you, he could basically hit you with. And long as you could hear what he's saying, or as long as you could hear his attack, then So not only do you have to hide from him, but you have to close your ears too. And I kind of realized it kind of don't seem like the numbers are really listening to Apu. So maybe I was kind of wrong about like the numbers listening to Apu and betraying Kaido, cause we see how Fuga like takes off and runs after Yamato. He doesn't even listen to Apu, even though Apu is like basically calling them back. And then Apu has to he tells the other two numbers like, "Hey man, come on." And they kind of looking at him like, "Why?" They looking at him like, "Why? I know you think we listen to you, but we really don't. That's kind of how they looking at him. So maybe Apu doesn't have as much pull as I thought he did last chapter. And I also wanted to point out the fact that what Yamato said about Apu being an info dealer, which is interesting. Nose getting stuffy, but yeah, Apu being a info dealer, new information. I think it is putting more. I guess it's giving Apu more depth to his character, adding more depth. Now we see that he probably works in the underground. Probably he might work closely with Doflamingo. Maybe this whole because I think when we seen. I think there was a scene that we see where we see Doflamingo doing an announcement or something, and we see all the people kind of like we see like the underground like that Doflamingo was helping run, and I think Apu was there that one time, like he was watching along the TV. I can't remember the exact scene, like I can't remember how exactly it goes. Again, I'm a little off today, so it's a little tough. My memory's not serving me right. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. What I got with Apu, and then let's go to Sanji. What I want to end it on Sanji, the whole scene with Sanji. Now, the last few chapters, I think we got Queen talking to Sanji, telling him about how this Vin smokes are heartless, and his like his DNA is finally catching up with his body, and soon he's gonna be heartless like his family. And then we get a scene where it's like Sanji. It's implied that Sanji hit this geisha. Now it's possible she could just be like faking. I don't know, but Sanji almost seems like he remembered like there was kind of a blank period. Like he says, he. Let me see if I could find it. He says, I remember that I was running along deep in thought, and the next moment she'd been, knocked through the air and was bleeding. She says, I'm just a geisha who was brought, like she calls out to him and said, I'm just a geisha who was brought from the flower capital to entertain. And then looks like, I don't know if it's her saying it or Sanji said it. He says, please let me go. I think that's her saying it. And then he said, and the next moment, she'd been knocked through the air and was bleeding badly. She was looking at me with fear in her eyes. So even Sanji kind of forgets what happened in between, like there was kind of a blank in Sanji's memory. He remembered that one minute he was talking to her, and then she says, let me go. And then next minute she was flying through the air. He don't remember actually physically hurting her, but he knows something happened. So, Sanji is pretty much going back and forth, in his head, like, hey, I don't know if Luffy would want this, regular flesh and blood me who turns into a helpless wreck whenever I face an opponent who's a woman. So he don't know if Luffy wants like his normal self who's like weak against women, or if Luffy would want an emotionless warrior who could defeat somebody like Queen effortlessly, but is emotionless and still might even hit a woman. So he's thinking like which one would benefit Luffy even more. But this kind of plays into Sanji. Sanji, that again, Sanji's his pride as a man who would never hit a woman. He's completely chivalrous, and he's against not feeding people if they're hungry. Like he's against wasting food, and he's against not feeding hungry people, regardless who they are. And so we see Sanji's decision, and he decides to destroy the raid suit. Like he steps on the raid suit and destroys it. Which to me is like, why? Why would you do that? You know, I'm kind of upset because it's like now we won't get raid suit Sanji again. You know, which is disheartening because now we see Sanji's body, getting stronger, and his base form, just his base form getting stronger. He got an upgrade to his base form, and then you add the raid suit to that. Oh, bro, you know. So I'm thinking, like, is it possible to salvage the raid suit? Could we possibly see the raid suit again? Maybe Frankie, maybe like it's still some remnants, like even though it looked like he destroyed it, maybe there's some remnants to the technology that Frankie could possibly like salvage and replicate it and make it even better without it affecting Sanji's DNA. So I don't know, but it looks like we're not getting raid suit Sanji for the rest of this arc at least. Which is sad. It's sad to me. I like the raid suit. I like the raid suit. It was dope. And then, which further his decision, not only did he decide to sacrifice the raid suit, he calls Zoro and says, look, Moss Head. He didn't say that. I just act like I'm Sanji. He's like, look, Moss Head, if I'm not myself we're going to defeat these guys. We're going to defeat the All Stars, the Animal Kingdom commanders. But if I'm not the same guy I am after this fight, I want you to kill me. Zoro's kind of confused because he's in the middle of a flurry from King. So he's like, all right, man, just survive. And I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll do it. Which kind of, to me, is kind of weird because, like, what if Zoro didn't catch the fact that Sanji said, kill me if I'm different? And then he just hears, hey, Zoro, I want you to kill me after, I want you to kill me after this fight. And then Zoro just attacks him after the fight. So, I don't know. That'd be kind of funny. But we see, we kind of get, we see what's that called? Like the resolve of Sanji to remaining true to who he is. Like that Sanji, that's that passionate Sanji, that chivalrous Sanji. We see his resolve to stay that Sanji. And I get it, because if him using the raid suit does like really actually affect his psychology, maybe it's better that he doesn't have the raid suit, because I don't think the Straw Hats would want a heartless Sanji, I don't think the Luffy would want that, or anybody else, I'm pretty sure Nami would be hurt, even though she, acts like she don't care about Sanji, but yeah, so I think it probably was the best decision, but I think a better decision would have been like, hey, if he would have just kept it and maybe took it to Frankie and like, hey, I want you to make this to where it doesn't affect me and my psychology, affect my DNA. But yeah, but that's pretty much all I got. You guys, let me know what you think. Do you think Big Mom is going to be defeated by the end of this arc? Do you think what do you think about Sanji? Like his decision to destroy the raid suit and him being willing to sacrifice his life if he isn't the same Sanji. Let me know what you guys think about the chapter in the comments. And I think we got a chapter next week. Let me make sure. Let me go in my phone app. Yeah, chapter in 7 days. So we will be back again in 7 days before the holidays. Um, yeah, and I'm gonna be gone for the holiday, for Thanksgiving for about 2 weeks. I'll give you guys more information about that as we, next week. I'll give you more information about what I'm gonna do next week. So anyway, it's your boy Sean P. the Bluff God. Hey, I'm out of here. Y'all be easy. Peace.